Welcome, you guys. I appreciate your time and energy to this live, and the slide deck that you prepared is so valuable and has all the information just laid out. And so I think it's going to make it really easy for the viewer to, see what it is, actually visually see and hear. I want to introduce Kim Perotti with Axis Appraisal. She's the co-founder and co-president of the company. And Matthew, I had your title up earlier in front of me. Matthew, what is your function there? Because your title was a long title. What exactly do you do?
I am the Director of Business Development and Escalations. So typically when a problem becomes acute and hits my desk, that's when I step in to solve it.
So my viewers, all my loan officer viewers, have the insider track to the escalation, the head of escalation. Right. I love it.
That's right.
Okay, well, let's get started. The topics today that we've laid out are all very top of mind. And a little backstory, how Axis came on my radar is I was using a lender's AMC that I was not happy with. They were not delivering, and I was complaining. They said, well, take a look at our panel. And so I started researching the different companies, and I really liked your website, and I chose you guys. And my first appraisal that you did, you guys did a bang up job. It was wonderful. And it was a big deal for the borrower and the agent. It was a $2.5 million purchase, and it came in at value, and you guys turned it around so quick. And then I was messing around your website and saw this really neat thing about appraiser training. And I thought, wow, nobody is talking about that. And there are literally no new appraisers. So Kim, you and I had a little discussion about that. Would you like me to just kind of scroll through the slide deck? You just tell me when to go. So right here is your slide number 1, and you tell us about what's going on in the appraisal profession.
Sure. With low interest rates over the last couple of years, we've obviously had a huge demand for appraisals. Even with Fannie and Freddie's almost 40% waivers in the marketplace, appraisers, even though so much of our industry is modernized, appraisers can only complete 2, maybe 3 appraisals a day. And at the same time, we're seeing kind of an aging of the profession. So for Axis, we wanted to find ways to help support the industry. And part of that was looking at who is an appraiser today. Clearly, we're not reflective of the communities that we serve and appraise in. It's 95% white as far as the professional makeup. The average age of an appraiser is 58. Fannie and Freddie just recently did a study and found that we have over 1,200 appraisers annually retiring from the industry, but we only have approximately 400 new appraisers entering the marketplace. Obviously, we're going to feel more and more tightening there if we don't make some changes. It's also a male-dominated industry, and it's primarily sole proprietorship, which means you have one appraiser working out of their home often. And therefore, if you think about inviting someone else to work with you in your home, it's a daunting task to bring in someone new to train them as an apprentice in the situations in which appraisers live and work. So today, to become an appraiser, the barriers to entry are fairly high. Not only do you have to have some level of college coursework, you have to complete 200 hours of qualifying education. And the real stickler is that you need to complete at least 1,500 hours of appraisal work under a certified appraiser in no less than 12 months. Typically,
and that is the sticking point, because I don't know, if I had to help somebody with 1,500 hours, that's a lot I'm a super busy person. So it's really a time constraint thing that they have then, right?
It's definitely a time constraint. You also have someone, new who wants to make a living, and that's a long time to be an apprentice. We are seeing more of our lenders allow trainees to do solo inspections, which then at least incentivizes the supervising appraiser to bring on trainees. But there are, some real challenges there. And then the exam to become an appraiser is very challenging. The pass rate is not very high on the first attempt. Very challenging exam. So there are changes in the industry that are coming about. So what we'll see in the future on the next slide is that there's a new program called PAREA in which folks can become appraisers through a virtual experience module. Those modules are currently being built out and will be approved by the AQB as they roll out, but it will allow large cohorts of folks to work in these virtual experiences and not to the one-to-one ratio with a supervisor.
Okay.
So we should see, as a result of these programs, a more diverse appraisal force and a larger appraisal force coming out in the future.
How much do appraisers make these days? I know back before they changed it to the AMC model, it seemed like an appraiser, could easily make 100 or 150,000 a year. Is that still the case now? I mean, what benefit is there for someone to become an appraiser nowadays, other than a flexible? I mean, it is technically a flexible schedule. You're an entrepreneur, it's your own business. Are they making like 75 to 150, or do you have like a range?
So it's going to depend upon your efficiency. So let's say for a basic track home, if you're making $400 for that order and you can get 3 done a day, you're obviously well into the 6 figures. We have other appraisers though that just their methodology where they only get 1 a day or they work part-time, but it definitely can be a highly lucrative career, especially if you learn those efficiencies that could make you a top producer.
I've known a lot of people who wanted to enter into it, and I even have like appraiser friends, and we're getting an alert to lock right now. That's what's going on. And I have appraiser friends and they're like, yeah, no, I'm not taking on an apprentice. And
Right.
so, people in other states, so you have to, make friends with an appraiser basically and be a resource to that person, like help them with their work somehow so that they can do more appraisals. And, but what you said, usually, a 50-year-old guy is probably not going to take on a 22-year-old young female. So, they're going to go hire or want to work side by side with some, 32-year-old guy that, they or a family friend or whatever. So that's really neat about the virtual appraiser experience. Okay, let me go to the next slide for you. Okay, so with the appraisal trainee program on your website, giving you guys a shout out, is that something that you guys can help facilitate a path or give them more information, or can we direct people to your site for information about becoming an appraiser?
Absolutely. We have sort of shifted gears more towards working on developing a PAREA model.
Okay.
But in the meantime, we have built out an inspection module to help folks in the traditional model that are working with a supervisor to get skills so it's not so laden on the supervisor to provide all that support. And we do keep a database of folks wanting to become an appraiser, and we try very hard to link them up with a supervisor under the current model until the new model is fully established.
Got it. Okay, wonderful. Well, thank you for that introduction into becoming an appraiser and what people can do to get information. So we'll leave a link after the show where they can go to your site. And if you could just tell us right now, is it accessappraisal.com? I forget what the link is.
Yeah, it's right on the bottom of this slide. It's access-amc.com.
Got it. Okay, perfect. Thank you, Kim.
Of course.